Okay, this video is going to be on a little do-it-yourself update I did on this Explore Scientific AR102 refractor. That I bought this a year or so ago and did a review on it. One of the issues with it was the finder it came with was this tiny little red dot type finder. And a lot of people like to have so-called real finder. This one here is an Orion 9x50, and as you can see, the little dovetail mount here is very different in size. This one here is real tiny. So if you buy the Explore Scientific, it comes with this. At least this particular Explore Scientific. The more expensive ones may be different. But this here is more of a standardized size. And I bought a little dovetail bracket online. I think I paid $10 or $11. So then the trick is to find a way to mount it, because this will not mount in the holder that this was designed to mount into. So what I did, real simple, as luck would have it, this particular telescope, the mounting rings that came with it, had an extra set of threaded holes on top. And they're the same as what's down here on the bottom holding it to the dovetail bar. Now when I first got it, I tried to stick a 1/4x20 screw in here because that's kind of the standard, and it didn't want to go in there. So I thought it was metric, and ended up going to the hardware store with one of these screws and found out that it actually is a 1/4x20. It's just they put a nice coat of paint on here, and there was some paint in the threads. So, you know, when you go to put it in, it's a little snug, but it is 1/4x20. And I've just got this like 3/4 inch thick piece of wood that's like 1.5 inches wide, and I mounted the little bracket on here. Now I've got it mounted towards the back here, as you can see. You can mount it way up center. You can do whatever you want. It would fit just fine. But I also use this telescope part on my Celestron AVX from time to time and do some photography. And I've got a guide scope that I wanted to use. And for that, I like to try to have it a little heavier on the tail end down here towards the camera where it would be, as opposed to just truly balanced, because it helps get rid of backlash with the gears, which is something that annoys photography. So anyway, with just this simple adjustment here, or simple adaptation, I should say, you can add a standard finder scope. So I paid, like I say, $10 or $11, I think, for this little bracket here. I found mine on eBay. It's just a finder scope bracket, and it's a standard one. I think they call it Vixen type, at least in this case. And then I already had this 9x50 finder that I bought used, and I think I might have paid $50 for it. These can get kind of pricey, especially if you get one with a 90-degree angle view or an illuminated reticle. This one here is straight through. One other thing I thought I should mention that I kind of forgot about. There's a gap under here when you put this on, because you know I'm mounting it on a piece of flat wood, and it wasn't necessarily designed to mount the I'm talking about the dovetail bracket part. This part here, it's got a space under there. So I shimmed it in with a couple of flat washers. Depending on which one of these you buy, you know, if you get one of the discount ones, if you pull these screws real tight and you don't have a washer under there, it'll kind of bend it a little bit like that. Make this, instead of being flat in the middle, it'll kind of V-shape it. And that brings this in narrower, and then your finder scope or guide scope or whatever won't fit in there. I had that happen once, and I was able to kind of flatten it back out and make it work again, but that's one thing I thought I should mention. Anyway, it's just an idea I wanted to share.